Hey everybody, welcome back to Xtra Points. I'm Eric Schmolt alongside John Barry. We get together every week to talk sports. This is going to be a little different, a little condensed version. We're going to change things up a little bit, and you can let us know what you think. But basically, we're going to go a lot shorter. We're going to stick to one sport probably each week, maybe a little more if when we get closer to tournament time. But we're going to keep it real focused. We're going to keep it shorter. We're going to get you on your way. So
yes,
we're talking boys hoops this week, and I think no better place to start than the Janesville Craig boys, who have rattled off 8 straight wins. They're tied atop the Big 8 with Madison Memorial, and everything's just kind of clicking for the Cougars right now. And I guess we both had a chance to see them quite a bit, but just your general thoughts on what the Cougars have been able to do after, I think, a 2-3 start to the season.
Just, I think, being unselfish, playing unselfishly and distributing the ball. And I think what's really key to that 8-game streak is the defense. They've been very good defensively.
I think they're giving up 54 points a game, something like that.
I think the couple times that I've seen them, they've kept it under 50, and you can do that. You're playing pretty good defense, and I think offensively they've just realized that there's enough options on that team that when they don't settle for that quick three, which Coach Mike Miller's talked about, and they're patient and they run the offense, they get the ball to Adam Manhold down low, and he either gets to the basket or distributes to one of those outside shooters, that they can be pretty effective. And we're going to find out a lot more about them this week with Sun Prairie and Middleton on tap on the road. And, those are the two teams that beat them in the conference. So Cougars looking for a little payback.
Sun Prairie beat them by a point the first time around. Middleton a little more lopsided, but they've since kind of had a little turbulence. They were like the early favorites, and they've kind of fallen back. So, a chance for Craig to really prove that they belong. If they can find a way to win even one, but if they win both of these games, then all of a sudden that game at Madison Memorial in a couple of weeks is basically going to be for the conference
Big
championship.
Big 8 title, and the Spartans are, I think, looking for their 15th straight Big 8 title, either shared or undisputed. So a couple of big week stretches for Craig, and on a senior-laden team like they have, like I talked about in my story, they've handled the pressure well, and let's hope they can continue to.
And we got a chance to catch up with head coach Mike Miller this week, and here's kind of what he had to say about some of these upcoming big matchups.
Yeah, I think our defense is much improved to a man, and the guys coming off the bench have done a great job too. So we have multiple guys that can take top scorers, including Blumgren, Nagobi, Kramer. So there's a lot of guys I can turn to if I need to, which is a big advantage.
Yeah, and all of them can usually step up at one point or another. Is it nice having one guy be able to get double digits if another guy's struggling? Because it seems like somebody usually picks it up on the offensive end if somebody else is not getting their usual point total.
Absolutely, and our team's been very unselfish. They're not worried about who scores. They're trying to get a win every week. So, Nick Lynch is capable any week of going off and scoring 15 to 20. Nagus has had some good games. Santrell, we know, is very capable. Anhold. So just a well-balanced team that can really score the basketball. We don't mind going on the road. You got to come with your A game every game. So, going up to Sun Prairie this week, that's been a tough place for us to play. But again, we played them tough there both times last year, and hopefully we'll get the job done this time.
So that's what the Cougars have going on this week. Obviously, we got the Parker boys still looking for their first win. It seems like they're trending in the right direction, but battling a little illness. We'll see if they can get that elusive W. Elsewhere in the Rock Valley, I think Turner has pretty much cemented itself as the Rock South front runner, and I just don't see them losing another game probably from here on out, because they've already had Evansville, McFarland, and East Troy as their crossover matchups. Even if they do stumble, they're probably still going to win that one, but Turner really kind of just keeping things rolling.
Yeah, and I see today that Alec Fruin, their outstanding senior guard, forward, center, wherever he wants to play, he can play, named one of the 10 finalists for Mr. Basketball in Wisconsin. Wow. So a nice honor for him and well-deserved. And
he has set the Turner scoring record last week in a game at Clinton. So basically, he's really put together quite a good career here, and still trying to figure out what's going on at the next level. But I'm thinking he's going to have even some more.
I think the offers are going to start pouring in, especially if they can make a nice little tournament run, which they're good enough to do that because I think that sectional is going to be wide open. And I think when you look at the North, certainly Evansville with everybody on deck now and all hands on deck and being healthy for the first time all year, I think they're going to get into a groove where they're going to start playing their best basketball at the right time. And McFarland's got a very nice team, but really,
and East Troy can score with the
East
best
Troy
of
can
them.
score with,
and they still get to face each of those teams, and I think it's coming up next week. So that'll be a big week to kind of shake out exactly what's going on in the North, because there's still some things to go down there.
Yeah, that's some things to be decided.
Yes, they have not decided that.
Right.
In the Southern Lakes, you've got a couple teams, Burlington at the top, and but I think Elkhorn and Delavan Darien have proven that they can play with any of those teams, and they've got a chance to put themselves in the mix there as we hit kind of the home stretch of the Southern Lakes.
They do, and really I think they got a chance when you look at what happens in the postseason in that they'll be in different divisions, so they wouldn't seed themselves together in that, but it makes a big difference down the road, and we've talked about it before. You want to get that extra home game, and if you can get a top 4 seed, you're guaranteed that extra home game, whereas if you get in the lower part of that 7, 8, 9 seed, you likely may get one home game, but then you're on the road. So I mean, it's big, and two teams that I think are probably a little better than we expected.
Yeah, I think so. And they've each got some players that can hit some shots. I mean, obviously, Ingersoll and Easterday at Elkhorn have had their moments where they go over 20. Easterday's in the 1,000-point club as well. So teams that I think you got to keep an eye on a little bit here. And these are kind of the weeks where you may not decide the conference championship, but these are the couple of weeks here where you decide if you're going to be in that conversation.
It's the old pretender versus contender, and I think those two teams both feel like they're contenders.
I think so too, and I think we'll see. This is where we'll see where Craig fits into that Big 8. If they can avenge some of their earlier losses here and keep this winning streak going on the road. So that's what to watch for in boys basketball this week. We'll be back here next week. We'll get to the girls next week, and we'll kind of go back and forth each week as things roll along. And don't worry, hockey, wrestling.
Yeah, we'll get to
when tournament times come around, and when we get kind of the big stories, we'll make sure we keep you involved. We're going to keep things a little more local here, keep them a little shorter, and you can let us know what you think by emailing us at sports@gazetteextra.com or finding us on Twitter or Facebook, and just let us know. And we'll read some comments. We still will if we get them.
We will. We're not afraid to.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.
Take care, everybody.